Imagine if a small group of people, I mean, literally at the most a few hundred, virtually all of them fabulously wealthy white men, a few women, got together but virtually all of them white and wealthy, got together and said, hey, let's screw our country badly, but get incredibly rich in the process. And then they did it, and they bragged about it. Now, I mean, obviously there's, I'm not talking about any particular company that is engaging in, or whether it's the banksters or the chemical companies or whatever. This is something a little more subtle than that. But if something like that were to happen, it seems like it would be a story that the television media would be all over, right? Wouldn't they be talking about it on TV? Commentators would be opining on it. News reporters would be going through all the details. You'd have charts and graphs, and then legislators would be meeting to figure out how could this happen and how do we prevent it in the future? It would be the biggest story of the year, perhaps of our lifetimes. Well, it happened. And you're not going to be hearing about it in the media. Here's the story. The directors and managers and producers of a small handful of immensely powerful and profitable media corporations made the decision a year and a half ago that the Donald Trump show was more important to put on TV every day and every night than any actual news. Because the Donald Trump show brought ratings, and ratings are the variable that determine what they can charge for advertising, which in turn determines what they can charge for their advertising, which in turn determines their profitability. As Les Moonves, the chairman or the president of CBS, I don't recall which of his titles it is, but the head guy at CBS said to a group of CBS stockholders in an investor phone call, he said, what Donald Trump may be terrible for America, but he's great for CBS. Keep it up, Donald. And obviously CBS kept it up. The estimates are between $2 and $3 billion in free media that Donald Trump got in 2015, 2016, that helped him win the Republican primary first and then helped him win the White House. Literally billions of dollars in free media that was not given to Hillary Clinton, that was not given to Bernie Sanders, and that was not given to Donald Trump's opponents in the primary. It was just Donald Trump. The media, there's this orgy of navel gazing right now about the Trump media, about the Trump presidency, right? Does he, is he putting racists in his advisory capacities? Is his son-in-law too close to him? Are his businesses this and that? Jeff Sessions, his appointees to his cabinet, all this, and it's useful, thoughtful stuff, but have you heard a discussion about how did Trump become president? How did Trump even become the Republican nominee? Trump did not become the Republican nominee with the help of Russia. He did not become the Republican nominee by spending his own money, because frankly, I don't believe he has any. I think that his debt, according to the Wall Street Journal, he's over $1 billion in debt, and the financial agencies are tranching it. They're slicing and dicing his debt and selling it off as securities. That's a whole nother rant. Because what happens if Trump hotels become terrorist targets or something like that, God forbid, and suddenly their value falls, and the banks say, okay, Donald, pay up, and suddenly he's like really, genuinely bankrupt. But setting that aside. So how did Donald Trump get the Republican nomination? It wasn't any foreign guy. It was our media. Donald Trump knows, he has spent his entire life playing the media for suckers. He's been doing it since he was in his 20s. It's just that he had never done it on a national scale in a really big way. He had been, he'd always been the guy that the New York media obsessed on. So, and then you get to the general election also, did hackers, maybe Russians, revealing that Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Donna Brazile had put their thumb on the scale over at the DNC against Hillary. Did that cause Trump to win? Did he win because working white men are angry? And these are the things that the media is talking about, right? Did he win because Hillary failed to campaign in the critical Rust Belt swing states? Is he going to be president because so many people hate the government? I don't think so. I think he got to be president because he got $3 billion worth of free media. And this is like, it's like the Trump story that the media dare not utter. The numbers, I mean, you can easily find this stuff online. Over at the Kennedy School and at Harvard, they did an analysis. This was in June of last year, so it wasn't. I mean, I'm not sure when the Republican primary wrapped up, but it was. It might have been just post-primary, and just. I mean, they were just looking at free versus earned media, or free, sometimes free and pay and earned media. The words are interchangeable versus paid media. There was advertising. Jeb Bush spent over $100 million on advertising. Donald Trump spent $10 million. Nothing. That's like an ad buy in New York City for a week. You think that the media are going to talk about it? That they're the ones who put Donald Trump in the White House? Somehow I doubt it. In fact, I would even take this a step further. If what I'm implying is that the media, the corporate media in the United States, who will tell you right up front, as Les Moonves did to his investors, their first job is not to inform the American people. It used to be, when we had the Fairness Doctrine, Reagan did away with that in 1987. Their first job is to make money. So if the media decided that running the Donald Trump show 24/7 for a year and a half was going to make them the most money, and obviously they made that decision because it's exactly what they did. Now they're looking at a Trump presidency, and they've got to be licking their chops. They've got to be saying, if we had had a Hillary Clinton presidency, it would be so boring. I mean, she would just do things, if there was Democrats in charge, they would just run the country, right? They do this, we know the platform. It's like capable, competent, step by step. Probably not a lot of scandal, depending on, how many times if the Republicans could hold on to the House, then they could probably have some more Benghazi hearings. But seriously? But with Trump in the White House, oh boy, we have 4 years to make an extra $1 billion a year. And the senior executives can take out of that, an extra $1 billion a year or $10 billion a year or $30 billion. The senior executives can put a couple $100 million in their pockets. The news stars, the infotainment stars, instead of, I think Megyn Kelly turned down $25 million from CNN. I mean, this is how much the media stars get paid. She turned that down to go to NBC, where presumably she got that or more. Everybody's getting a raise because of Trump.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
At least everybody in the media. The rest of us, we're screwed. America gets screwed. The media gets rich. What do you think?